Greetings, pilgrims from Earth. I've been getting quite a few responses to my videos on Stephen's Law. And Stephen's Law is something I broached several years ago when a gentleman, a young kid, Stephen Bacon, was creamed by a car by a bunch of lowlifes. And the fact of the matter is, to date, there are no states that specifically really give a damn about the passengers who are in a vehicle involved in a hit and run. There are two states, one is Minnesota, one is Vermont, where anybody there, whether you're a citizen of Vermont or a citizen of Minnesota or not, if you see someone in distress, you're obligated to lend assistance, not to risk your life, but to let the authorities know to help this person. And they actually have a warning to doctors. Some medical association was warning doctors to be careful in Vermont and Minnesota, because if they don't get aid for somebody, they could be in deep trouble. But it's not just for doctors, it's anybody. So apparently they have a social consciousness in Vermont and Minnesota, which is lacking in all the other states. As a result of Stephen Bacon getting killed on his bicycle, both New York and Pennsylvania have introduced their own version of Stephen's Law, which would make passengers liable if they don't report a hit and run, if the driver refuses to do what he's supposed to do. But most of the time the driver is drunk, probably already has a couple DWIs, and if he were to turn himself in on this thing, he would really be in big doo-doo. But as they say, driving is not a privilege. It's a privilege, it's not a right. And if that's the case, either is driving in a car. It would seem to me that a passenger can be forced to assume certain duties, especially if, well, they're over a certain age. But then again, you don't care what the age is, you're not allowed to throw crap out of the car. So in any event, I would appreciate, rather than just send me letters of support of my videos on Stephen's Law, that you actually take action and either send my video to your state representative, your state senator, your state assemblyman, especially if you know somebody personally who's been maimed or killed by a hit and run driver, and tell them you want to get this done. You could write your governor. Unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to pin down both candidates for the governor of New York and Pennsylvania on this issue, because in both cases the transportation committees on these things have done nothing to advance this. Now, Gene Yaw, he's our senator, he just wants to expand the current laws, because apparently passengers have certain obligations if the driver is physically incapacitated as a result of the accident. If they're mentally incapacitated, that's another matter. They're not required to do a damn thing. As it stands now, they could have a party, break out some beer, and watch the person die. Eat potato chips, say, "Hey, how long you got?" It is really sad, and I've written numerous letters to the editor on this subject. I've done numerous videos, and a few people have really stepped to the plate and done something and made a difference and advanced this whole concept forward. But the vast number of you folks just don't want to do anything. You don't want to make a statement. You don't want to get involved. And I think this is an important issue, that it should be in every state that passengers do have some responsibility to do the right thing, the moral thing, the Christian thing, whatever you want to label it as, to help thy neighbor, do unto others, whether or not you'll actually lift a finger or just tell me about as what's happening now. I'm getting a lot of emails or notes from YouTube how terrible things are down in Florida and this and that and this and that. I mean, we had I think a state assemblyman or senator who was involved in the hit and run. You know, he was with his girlfriend, so he didn't want to talk about it, but his girlfriend should have had to talk about it. They caught him a year or so later, and he did some time. But the fact of the matter is, if they don't call this in right away, their chances of survival, that is, the person hit, drops by the second. And the people they hit deserve to have every opportunity to survive. And a lot of these people, even though they survive, they're still messed up for life. They'll still have to deal with the effects of the injury. So even if they survive, they got a long haul and they got a lot of expenses. And who should pay for those expenses, them or the person who did it to them? Now, I understand that 20% of the people in the United States don't have car insurance, but that's another issue. Maybe we should have mandatory car insurance even if you don't have a car. I mean, if we have mandatory health insurance, we should have mandatory burial insurance, right? Everybody's going to die. Yeah, we can do everything, make everything mandatory except the fact that right now across the United States, except in 2 states, and that's not specific to automobiles, but it doesn't matter. Other than Minnesota and Vermont, you're required to go get help for somebody in distress. So if you are a low-life slime hit-and-run driver, I suggest you stay out of Vermont and Minnesota and continue to kill people in the other states. You stand a better chance. But if there is such a thing as God, I'm sure you'll be held accountable. And the passengers who say nothing and are worried about offending their low-life friends who are driving and maiming people, you know, it says a lot about your character. So that's it. Have a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and, you know, do unto others as you'd have them to do unto you, and hopefully one of you people out there will, well, not one, some of you already have done some great things on this issue, but maybe more of you people will actually get involved in this whole issue, Stephen's Law, hit and run, and the responsibilities of the passengers in the car. Take care. Bye-bye.